Hello, I am the anarcutie and I do the posters and things, and today you're gonna come with me when I create one of those things. Yeah, that's the video. Yeah, that's kind of it. All right. Yeah. Let's start. Let's start. To begin with, we're gonna create a new artboard. I'm gonna use a 2000 by 2500 because that's what I usually do. And then we take the picture. I just searched up anarchist riots, and I usually look up my pictures. Either I have like an idea for like a quote or a simple idea in mind, and then I look for a picture based on that. But this time, I actually just searched up anarchist riots because that's the vibe I was getting, and I found this picture, which is pretty cool. And that reminded me of like an anarchist quote, like "street power" or something like that. So we're gonna free transform it, fit it into our comp, and then we are going to crop the thing. To fit like something like this, probably. And I want to fill this area too. So we're gonna fill it with content aware and hope it does good work. And that looks great, so I'm gonna keep it like that. Now I want to use this person as a foreground element. And I can do it with two ways. I can make a mask where it's only just them and then a background, or I can add my text and then mask the text around the person. And I think I'm gonna use the latter one of those. And now, oh no, we have a text in front of the person and we want it behind. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a mask. And how masks work is basically they allow you to work non-destructively by just basically limiting the area that is shown of the image that the mask is linked to. And it is just like full white, and then you use the brush tool and add black, and it removes the part that is black. So you can basically paint with which areas you want to include and not include. And then we just paint around the person, because the mask is linked to the text. So everywhere we add the color black, it removes that part of the image like it's overlaid on. And this is already looking pretty cool. I kind of want to use red. Like really like fiery red. Something like this. There we go. And as we can see, the edges are a bit scuffed here, because the white text would hide all of these like light colors. So we are gonna like do some minor adjustments still. I kind of don't like how the hand has a hole in it, so we're gonna go back to this layer, get the lasso, and just slightly paint around it. Pick this area. And fill it with content aware. And then we're gonna remove this area. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks way better. Now this is already pretty cool, but how do we make it look like my posters? We use our overlay pack called Scratch Plastic. It has a lot of overlays that I use. We're gonna grab one. This is a film grain that I use often. We're gonna put it on top of everything and use probably lighten our screen. Drop it down to like a solid 60% and fill. And because it lightens up the image a bit, we're gonna add an adjustment layer with brightness and contrast on top of this one, the background image. And we're gonna add some contrast and lower the brightness, just so it keeps the feel while still having that grain on top of it. Then we're gonna take a unicorn gradient, which is just a name of a pack of gradients I downloaded. It has some like abstract color gradients, and we're gonna use one, filter it in. I like this one. I think this looks pretty cool. Let's see without, and add some with the fill. Alright, just add some color. I think that works fine. Then there's a fire over here, so I want to add a light leak that makes it look like there's some light coming out of that fire. Actually, I had a this is something that happens a lot. I have an idea, then I find a thing that works well, and now it's a whole new post. And it has a completely different vibe, and it still works. I like this a lot. I really like this. So, as you can see, even I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So this was what it was originally, and then I added one filter, and it changed it completely. And we can even play with this filter by adding a hue and saturation filter over it, or an adjustment layer over it. And we can play with the hue to make it a bit more like lively orange, to give it a bit more like color. And as you can see, like small changes in like saturation and lightness make the image a lot different. So we're gonna play with that a bit. And that is starting to look cool. Now I don't think it has some like trash on it, I guess you could call it. But I want more. I want more. Let's go to our dust folder. Now, as you can see, this filter or this overlay has a lot of like impurities in it, and we're just gonna add that on top of everything. Add it with screen and move it around a bit to see if it fits anywhere super well. I think that works. And lower the fill so it doesn't distract from the actual image. Like so. And now, what it's missing is the anarchist A. Yeah, I really like this. I really like how this turned out. And we're not even done. So now this is already a good like post, but what I want you to think about is, while you're making this, is there something that can like instantly elevate this more? I think it is a bit heavy on the center. So I want some kind of like subject up here. Or maybe here. So we might want to add a small text here. So I just thought of a quote, like liberation through revolution. And we're gonna change the font so it gets, so it just looks a bit different. It gives a bit of like, it's more interesting to look at. I think that's the best way to describe it. And I think we might want to use Chandler because it has a nice texture to it. And it's a nice contrast, like it contrasts well with our main font in that way that the main font is a tall, thick font with rounded edges, and Chandler is a small, a bit wider font with very nice texture, and the street power part is very clean. So I think that gives a nice contrast. And now, there are some elements, because I want to make this look more alive. I want to make this part look more alive. So there are these small parts, over here and over here, like these two, that I feel like we want to put up to the front. And what I want you to understand while looking at this is that you need to try. So even like this whole post just came up by accident because I had a completely different idea. Then I saw what a filter did to the idea. And now I'm on a completely different route. So I just want you to know that the most important thing is to try. And even now, I came to realize this doesn't look that good. So like I was saying, it's all about trying these new things. So there we go. So that's gonna be one post. It's not that hard, to be honest. It's more about just, and even like, you don't have to like understand even this. I think this is a very like beautiful design, and this is very basic. You don't have to like understand any theory about like designing, understand any color theory. It's all about like creating a feeling, and that's the most important part, is the feeling that you're trying to create. You kind of have to like be able to know it. And it just comes naturally with like trial and error. So that's how I do my posts.